Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you guys how to change out your motor mounts on your E90 BMW. You'll be able to follow this guide if you have a E90, E91, E92, E93, etc. So a few of the walkthroughs I've seen have you actually unbolt a bunch of stuff like your downpipe clamps and other various parts to get access and give yourself enough room to pull the mounts out. I'm not going that route. I'm going to actually try dropping the subframe, but I'm just going to hang it down slightly to create some room. I'm not going to like fully dismount it. So we should hopefully get this done in a few hours instead of it taking like 8 or 9 hours. So you're going to need an engine support bar, which you can purchase at Harbor Freight, to be able to follow this DIY. But the whole idea is I want to save myself some time. I want to limit the amount of parts that I'm interacting with to try to get access. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the parts. These are economy line parts, but I'm changing them for maintenance on my car. I had a bit of a vibration with the AC on. They just kind of felt like they had some slop in them. So I'm doing this for maintenance. These mounts are relatively cheap. They're like 20 something bucks a piece, and these are like $7 a piece, but they seem to be decent quality. So those are the part numbers there, and it's the same for left and right on this car. So here's the mount itself. Seems to be decent quality. The transmission mount looks like that. Should be easy to replace that. I'm gonna get the hood popped now so we can look at how we're gonna support the engine when we drop the subframe. So you're gonna wanna go to your trunk and actually get the following tool. Right in here, you have your tow hook, like so. All right, so I'm going to remove this engine cover first. Take the tow hook, screw it in here. Now I'm going to get my engine support bar and support the engine. So the engine support bar is supporting the motor. Now we can lower the subframe. So what we got to do next is get the car jacked up on 4 jack stands and give ourselves a working room to be able to lower the subframe. So I'm going to do that now. You guys can always refer to my how to jack up an E90 video to see how to jack up your car. The car's safely supported now. I'm going to buzz the front wheels off. Now we're going to go underneath the car and take off the splash shield here. Cover is being removed, but we got to remove this piece here, this triangle piece. So back here we have these covers as well that have to be removed. We're going to take out these bolts here, they're 16. Now we can drop this bar, pull it forward a bit and then pull down. I was missing a clip here where I said I'm going to the top of the car now to disconnect the bolts on the motor mount so that we'll be able to lower the subframe. So here's my contraption here. I got, I don't know, it's about 2 feet worth of extensions on a swivel. The end is a 16 mil. If we look down in here, you can see the nut. I'll try to get on that on camera. This is an FYI, a shallow 16. The other one wasn't getting on there good. Alright, I'm just going to grab that nut with the magnet. safe and sound. Let's go repeat that process on the other side. Now looking up in here, we can see there's two E12 Torx bits, inverted Torx for the motor mount. I'm going to undo those. I'm going to go repeat the process on the other side. It's the same. Alright, so I have active steering, but so I have a harness on the end of my steering rack. I'm not sure if they all have the same thing, but if we're going to be lowering the subframe, there's coolant lines here, there's different things that, you know, the sway bar end links and everything, they're all going to have just enough slack. The control arms are going to end up holding the subframe in place for you. So they'll have enough slack, you won't really be stretching anything, but one thing that you would want to disconnect is your headlight level sensor, which I've already done here. The clip's actually not in good shape, but I've taken that off. This will come down together with the control arm. That's not going to have enough slack to come down with the subframe. Everything else should, and I'll let you know if there's an issue otherwise. So now we're going to go after these subframe bolts. There's 6 of them. Starting here, 18 mil. And just to put it out there, these are reusable. They're magnetic. I'm gonna put the jack right here. So we've already created some slack, if you noticed. Going over to the other side. And just as an FYI, the first bolt was up there. I didn't get to show that on camera, but there's 3 on each side. Now we want to very carefully lower this jack, watching out for anything that's looking like it's snagged. Go real slow and check that nothing's being stretched. This coolant line has some give on it, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Okay, so we're all the way down. We're fine, this coolant line's not getting stretched. It's being held up by the control arms. So now we'll go and see if we can get the mount out. As you can see, we created the gap. A considerable gap actually, if you look there. So now let's just see how hard it's going to be to get that mount out. Now I'm over on the driver's side. Easy enough. I'm going to put that one back in place. Here's the passenger side, zoomed in on it. I ended up rolling it over this way. There we go. That side's out. Alright, so here's the driver's side mount. Still pretty stiff, seems fine. Passenger side, completely shot. It's broken. So that's where the vibration was coming from. It's got this little shield here that's glued on. But otherwise, they have a couple notches and they have a different part number from the factory. I'm going to double check against mine. Here's one of the new ones. As you can see, completely stiff, doesn't move. The stock driver's side one has a bit of movement, bit of play. This one's shot. So this looks exactly like the driver's side. So I don't have to do anything with this one. This will just go on the driver's side. Take this off of here. See if I can get that off without tearing it. I got that off. We're gonna glue it here now. If anyone's wondering, I'm using Right stuff. It sets really fast. So from what I read online, they are compatible left and right side. These aftermarket ones can go either way. And I'm doing this on a budget, I'm doing it for cheap. But, you know, at the end of the day, the way I look at it is like, let me try this out. If it's no good, I'll let you guys know, but like, it's definitely gonna be better than that, right? And for what I spent. If you wanna get an IS mount, a 335 IS mount, you can. And they're reinforced, I believe, without any real drawbacks, but I saw them going for like $500 or $600 when this was like 20 something. So that's a hard sell for me. I wouldn't mind changing this a couple times instead. And just spend my time instead of the money. And also maybe show you guys how this worked out. Yeah, this car makes a ton of torque and this will not last as long as the factory mount did. Probably not helping my cause by using a driver's side mount on the passenger side, but from everything I read, they're the same. This is what everybody does now. Alright, I'm gonna fish the mount back in place now, the new one. Not sure if you saw me putting it in place, but I basically went from the front. From right in there, just right in there, I passed it on top of the subframe and then worked it over. That was a little, probably be easier for removal too, but that's how I got it over there. And the silicone didn't completely set yet, so I'm gonna put this back. There's a mount in place, I'm gonna screw it in from the base. Sorry, it's hard to get some good lighting in here, but there's a mount sitting in place. I'm gonna screw it in from below now. Coming over to the driver's side now. Alright, we're getting it to the point where I can start jacking this up into place. We gotta really slowly and carefully bring things into position, check that everything's clear, no harnesses are gonna be pinched. But I think the way they set this up from the factory is pretty foolproof as long as your harnesses and everything are clipped in as they were. You won't pinch anything. We just got to make sure that we guide things into place and both the mount bolts go through the actual mount. Feels like everything went right back into position. I'm going to check from the top that both those bolt holes lined up with the mounts. They did. It was almost too easy, but that's just how they've designed things. The part where the subframe meets the body is conical, so it just pulls everything back into its original position very nicely. Start those by hand if you can. Longest one in the middle, second longest one up at the front here, and then shortest one at the back. Make sure you do plenty of threads. You don't want to be cross-threading that. I'm in a southern climate, so they don't really rust. You may have some corrosion on yours, but regardless, make sure you start it by hand as much as you can. Maybe bottom out with the ratchet. Alright, so I'm going to torque those down. The only thing I unplugged was my headlight level sensor. Put that back into position. And yeah, there's not a whole lot else. I'm just going to reverse, just going to put things back together basically, and then we'll go after the transmission mounts next. Probably just do this as a time lapse. So I'm just going to put the cover back on underneath, not much to show here. I'll show you me putting the bolt in from the top for the motor mount, and then I'll come back when I'm doing the transmission mounts. To ensure I can put that nut on without dropping it, I put a piece of electrical tape through the socket and then shove the nut onto that. That will help hold it in place while I lower it. Now we don't need this anymore. Engine is being supported on the new mounts. I'll come back once we're ready to do the transmission mounts. Here are the transmission mounts. There's a couple 13s on top, and there's a couple 13s on the bottom that hold it, and then there's the bracket with a 13 wrench up here. Crack that free. Now go after these 13s here. Over on the side. You can just slide this off now. These feel kind of soft and they can stretch around pretty easily. You take one of the new mounts, you gotta watch out for this notch here. The notch lines up here, like so. So you gotta watch out for that. So looking at it this way, this goes that way. The notch faces to the right. So that's it for the transmission mounts. Relatively easy in my opinion. Got these old mounts removed. They were in a terrible shape. They still had some life left in them, but they have a lot more give. I don't know if they have more give, but they just, when you flex them, you can see gaps in the rubber. You can see like hairline cracks. So that's it. I'm gonna get the car started up, take it for a drive, and see how it feels, and I'll let you know. But then we'll conclude the video. By the way, that's the part number for the replacement transmission mounts. Looks like 22316771219. The entire job, even with filming, took me less than 3 hours, so actually this was pretty quick. You could probably do it in under 3 hours if you weren't rushing, naturally. I just got back from a test drive. It feels considerably smoother now. Crisper shifts, and you can barely feel the motor. The main thing is through the steering wheel you hardly get any feedback. It actually feels quite nice. Much more refined. Made a big difference. I didn't expect it to make that much of a difference, but all in all, nice improvement. It made the car feel a lot newer and younger. So yeah, that shows you how to change out your motor mounts on your E90. You can use this guide for pretty much any E90 with the straight 6 in it. If you're not afraid to drop the subframe, it'll save you hours of aggravation, I would say. So thanks for watching and good luck. Consider subscribing for more content like this. I upload regularly.
Wow.